What's up guys, welcome to another Scratch tutorial. This is part 1 on how to make a maze game in Scratch, and in this video we'll be looking at how to make the player movement and the collision detection. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started. So here I have created a new project, and I'm gonna first call this project Maze Game, and I'm gonna delete the cat. And I'm going to create a new sprite, and I'll call this player. So I'm going to draw a simple player. I'm going to just draw a normal square. So I'm going to select the square tool and hold down shift to make a equal-sided square. And I don't want any outline. And I'm going to make the fill black. And I can make this a bit bigger by just making. And I'm going to drag it when flag clicked, and I'm going to go and make some variables. I'm going to make a variable called X for this sprite only, and another one called Y, and again for this sprite only, because we will not use these variables in any other sprites. So I'm going to set X and Y variables to 0, and I'm also going to go to 0, 0, which means the center of the screen, and show. So I'm going to go to control and drag a forever loop and go to my blocks and create a new block, and I'm going to call this player movement. And I'm going to click OK, and I'll drag the player movement block inside the forever loop. So in our define player movement block, I'm going to go to control and drag an if-else statement, and go to sensing and drag a key space pressed, but I'm going to change this to right arrow, and I'm going to change X by 5. And I'm going to duplicate this and change this to left arrow, and this one to -5. And I'm going to duplicate both of these and put this inside the else, and this one to up and this one to down. So this one goes, and I'm going to change this to Y, and also this to Y. I can just make the down arrow a normal if statement because we won't be putting anything inside of the else. So this doesn't really do anything, it just changes the variables, and we press the keys, the X and Y variables. So if we wanted to actually move, we're going to go to motion and drag or go to XY, and go to variables and put the X and Y variables inside these inputs. So we can just move around, and you can see that we can move around a bit stiffly, which is very good for maze games because we don't want to hit any dangers. So that makes it easier for the player to move around, other than making it like using momentum where it can just glide like that smoothly, which is pretty hard. So just make it move more robotically. So I'm going to make some collision detection, and one thing I can do is go to the backdrops and create a test backdrop. So I'm just going to name this test backdrop, so I can make sure and remember that this is the test backdrop. So it will test if the collision detection is working. So I'm also going to create another block called collision detection. And I'm going to click OK. So in our define collision detection block, I'm going to duplicate everything over here, but I'm going to make these opposites, and so the positives become the negatives. So I'm going to change this to negative, and the negatives need to become the positives. So this just pushes out the player if it touches the color black, which I'm going to drag an if statement around the whole if-else statements over here. And then I'm going to drag a touching color, and I need to change this to the color black because my level is the color black, and if your level is a different color, then make sure to change this color over here. And lastly, I'm going to go to my blocks and drag the collision detection block right after the player movement. So as you can see, if we hit a wall, we can't go through it, which is exactly what we want. And in this game, I'm actually going to add some coins and like a score system and a finish and a starting point and maybe some enemies and some dangers. So I'm just giving you a heads up of what is going to come next in these future videos. But anyways, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next Scratch tutorial. Peace out.